What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have a brand new Sugo Fest exclusive arriving. Surprise, surprise. However though, this should be the final Sugo Fest exclusive of the year before we officially reach the New Year's celebration. So that's kind of a cool thing. However, it is advised to, skip this Sugo Fest. There's going to be a new legend, of course, as we said, which is going to be Shaka, Pythagoras, and Edison. There's going to be a new Vegapunk as a Kazuna Clash rare recruit. So we're going to go through all of that in today's video, and I'll make a dedicated separate video for the new Super Evolution, which is Sanji and Pudding. Seemed like a pretty interesting unit, so we'll go through that in a separate one. So let's just jump into this one. This Sugo Fest is coming December 13th, so in 2 days' time. And as we said, featuring 2 brand new characters. Vegapunk Rare Recruit, I haven't even read him yet, and we've got the new Legend. We'll talk about the Rare Recruit later. Let's start things off with the Legend, because that's like the most important, I suppose, aspect here. I've had a brief read at what he does, and he seems interesting, but the kind of issue with him is that he's kind of like, you want to use the other Vegapunk characters with this character, right? So the thing is if you don't have the other Vegapunk characters on your account, this character's not going to be that good for you, right? So let's go through it. So Int Cerebral Free Spirit, we've got Pythagoras, we've got Edison, we have, what's the main guy's name? I can't even remember. Either way, let's go through this, right? Minus 2 turns of cooldown to Cerebral, 5.5 times attack to Cerebral when you have a matching slot, 5.25 times otherwise, 1.35 times HP. Int and Cerebral characters' size slots will be beneficial. So it's interesting that he has cooldown for Cerebral, attack for Cerebral, but Int and Cerebral characters will get the matching slot, which is kind of weird. And then it says if Stella, Lilith, Atlas, or York is a crewmate and uses a special, sets this character's special charge to max up to 2 times per quest and reduces decreased chain multiplier growth rate by 10 turns. So removing chain multiplier growth rate reduction thingy, like that's kind of a terrible thing to do, because there are just so many ways to get around it. You could chain lock, you can chain boundary, like those are the 2 key ways that you would get around it. So being able to just remove chain reduction, it's a bit of a weird gimmick. They could have replaced this with an infinite amount of utility, and it would have been far superior than what they gave us with this character's design. But it is interesting that he max charges his special up to twice per quest anytime any one of the other Vegapunks uses the special as a crewmate. So I think that's a really unique gimmick, and so long as the special that goes along with this is good, this could see play. So let's move on. If you go ahead and use this character as a captain, you get access to the super type. In order to use the super type, you need to have any of the following characters as a crew, on the crew should I say, can be launched when character is a crewmate. That's actually kind of big. So you've got any of the other ones. So Stella, Lilith, Atlas, and York. And Stussy also counts for this too. So perfect synergy there. The super type special sets this character's special launch status to 1. Which might seem a bit strange, but this is very similar to characters such as Cross Guild, such as the recently released 6+ treasure map Crocodile, very similar to that. Changes crew slots, including block slots, into Psy, which of course as a captain he treats those as beneficial. And then Cerebral characters get -1 turn of cooldown, Int characters become Super Int. So the fact that this can be used as a crewmate or a captain, and you only need 1 character to trigger it, is pretty good. So the super type effect, while it's not the most powerful effect, it's just really easily activatable, and it just gives you a matching slots and -1 turn of cooldown. Seems pretty decent overall. So let's actually get into what the special does, because there's so much going on at the moment in terms of getting his special. So what does it do? It's such a long special, but let's go through it. Let's go from line by line. First of all, when you launch the special, you get 1.5 times chain multiplicative boost for 1 turn. Up to 2 boost increasing effects can be applied. So 1.5 chain multiplicative, you can buff it twice. Sets all enemies' defense to 0 for 1 turn, ignoring all immunity to status effects. That's a really nice effect to have. If the crew has a chain multiplicative boost, except additive, so if it's a multiplicative chain boost, and you have tap timing chain growth as well, when you launch the special ability, you get set target status. That's amazing. Set target status is one of the most broken buffs in the game, which gives cerebral characters 2 times increased damage. And then if you kill an enemy with set target on them, you get 2 turns of cooldown for the character as well. To all enemies for 1 turn. That's really, really powerful. Set target status cannot be affected by immunity to status effects. Special charge time reduction effect is activated when defeating enemies with normal attacks and specials. Again, it's just more mumbo jumbo. That's probably why this special looks as inflated as it is. It's because they have so many explaining effects. So that's really cool. But there is a lot of conditions locked behind that set target status. You need to have the already withstanding chain multiplicative buff, and you need the tap timing chain growth as well. So you need to have those 2 things, and then when you launch it, that's when you'll go ahead and get the set target status. So if this character applies it, that's really strong. Let's move on. So after you do the set target status, further increases crew's multiplicative chain boosts by 0.2 and tap timing chain boosts by plus 0.1. If you have a chain multiplicative boost, when the special is launched, boost cerebral characters' tap timing chain growth rate by 0.6 for 1 turn. And you can buff that twice as well. So basically, on first launch, you get the multiplicative buff. On second launch, you get the tap timing chain buff. On the third launch, you get the set target status. That's how it works. And of course, that's all activating hypothetically during the same turn, which is pretty difficult to do. But if you can get this to work, you can get tap timing chain growth, chain multiplicative, set target status, all with this one character is pretty strong, and set their defense to 0 through immunity. Furthermore, there is more to talk about here. Let's continue. Reduces all enemies' rainbow shield and damage threshold by 1 turn. 1 turn? What's the point of that? Reduces crew's attack down by 1 turn? Seems a little redundant. Like, why even put this here? And if special launch status is at 1, reduces special charge time for Stella, Vegapunk, York, or Atlas by 15 turns. Okay. Interesting. So, basically, whenever you launch the special, you'll also just do Rainbow Shield threshold attack down by 1. But then if you have it at if you have the special status at 1, then you get this either instead or it's on top of the other effects. Either way, 15 turns of cooldown to all of the other Vegapunk characters is a pretty powerful effect, actually. Because you gotta remember, this synergizes well where if the other Vegapunks uses their special, then you can go ahead and get this character's special ability back as well when they're the captain. And of course, with the other Vegapunks and how they work with either double stacking attack boost, double stacking orb boost, Vegapunk with all of his gimmicks being able to like launch his special again, select all the different buffs, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. Like, this Vegapunk team seems pretty strong. It's definitely not going to be as good as some of the crazy Super Boss teams that we can do right now, but the synergy between all of these SugoFest exclusives of Vegapunk is pretty wild, some of the stuff that they're able to do. Is there any more to this? So it gives minus 15 turns of cooldown. Special charge time reduction effect of this special can be activated 1 time, including any specials with similar effect. Right, okay. So that's pretty strong, what this character is capable of doing here. Very, very interesting mechanics overall. Of course, as a crewmate, they make the side slots beneficial, which makes sense. And then the secondary crewmate ability is also very good, where if your captain is int and cerebral and they use a special, this character gets max special, and that can be launched twice per quest. Very powerful crewmate ability there. So being able to charge this, you could use this in really cool ways where even if you're not using like Vegapunk focused teams, being able to just get this guy to max whenever you need it is a pretty strong ability. Very, very intriguing. We'll see how good he's going to be. I'm not completely sold on this guy because you do need to have the other Vegapunks to make this guy like the best version of himself. But it's just interesting what they're doing. He does have the provoked attack effect. He does have fear reduction, which is quite good, and he does have final tap. So the final tap is going to be very difficult to max out, of course, because, you know, it is a Kizuna legend. On the final battle when you launch this special, and the final tap is not a great one, 1.5 times chain multiplicative buff to your chain. and also will boost the base attack of this character by 1,500. I don't know why they have such a hard-on for giving base attack buffs in their final taps. It's so ridiculous. But considering this character is focused around buffing the chain as much as possible, having this character to then further buff that final tap is pretty strong. But it's kind of weird that they even have a final tap in general, considering the fact that the other characters on the Vegapunk team already have very, very good final taps. Like Lilith, for example. Lilith's final tap is one of the best final taps in the game, and then there's this. Like, there's just no reason to use this if Lilith is on your team, for example. Very, very strange decision, honestly. Let's go ahead and have a look at the support. So any of the other Vegapunks, and if you use the special, reduces all enemies' damage reduction, damage threshold, and attack down by 1. Now that is a phenomenal support. We'll definitely see play. Unfortunately, it attaches to very strange units, but it's good nonetheless. Let's have a look at the Rumble stuff. So it's a supporter style unit in Rumble. And look, Int and Cerebral right now are very, very interesting, very powerful team, honestly, the way that I see it. So how does this fit in? Is this character going to see play? Let's see. The Rumble ability gives Int characters and Cerebral characters 6 attack, 6 defense. And then if you have Stella, Lilith, York, or Atlas on your crew, gives this character self and the other characters. So it gives himself and the other Vegapunk characters level 5 special CT increase. So if you think about it, if you're running like the Int Cerebral Vegapunk team, 6 attack, 6 defense, and then you get level 5 special CT. Pretty good, honestly. Pretty good Rumble ability. Though it is kind of focused on using those Vegapunk characters, which is the downside overall. Now, the Rumble special, 28 CT, Int and Cerebral characters, 8 attack, 8 speed, and then if Stella, Lilith, York, or Atlas are on the crew, target 3 teammates, not including themselves, with high special CT for a 30% CT reduction, and then targets one of the Vegapunks for 100% chance of haste. That could be quite good. I can see really cool ways where you could utilize Atlas. Atlas would be the best character with this, because Atlas is a very, very good offensive threat, and being able to charge that character faster, get them hasted as well if their special's ready to go, could be quite a good combination. But the other Vegapunks are very hit or miss, so I'm not really completely sold on this character in Rumble, but it's another option, I suppose. I think there's just better options you could be using on Int and Cerebral, but potentially I could be wrong. The mono Vegapunk team might be the most OP team in the game, but I just don't see it personally. This is a very interesting character. I just don't think you need to be pulling for this, considering how close we are to the New Year's celebration. Let's move on. Let's do a quick run through now of the Vegapunk Rare Recruit, very briefly here. So Int Cerebral Free Spirit, Int Cerebral Free Spirit, terrible captain ability, no one really cares. Special ability, remove threshold by 6 turns, so I assume that there's going to be a lot of damage threshold, Rainbow Shield. Let's see. So threshold by 6, paralysis by 6, color affinity boost for Int type Cerebral by 2.5 for 1 turn, boost damage dealt to defense down, 2.25 for 1 turn, which synergizes well with the legend. If this character has used this special 1 time, boost Int type Cerebral character slot effects by 2.5 for 1 turn, and further increase your attack and all boost, color affinity boost, and conditional boost all by 0.25. Okay, so it's a fine effect. Removing 6 turns of threshold and 6 turns of paralysis is the key reason why you would ever use this guy. The buffs that he provides, the color affinity boost specifically only to Int type Cerebral, is an inherent downside. He does give conditional boost against defense down, which does work pretty well with the legend, as we said, but I just don't think this character is going to see much play outside of this Kizuna. You know, just it is what it is. That's the breakdown of this guy. I guess we could have a look at the Crewmate abilities. If crew is inflicted with paralysis, reduce paralysis duration by 20%, ignoring the decimal. You what? What? Well, this is so strange. If you're inflicted with paralysis, reduce paralysis duration by 20%. Okay. So, if you get inflicted with 10 turns of paralysis, he removes 2 turns of it. Okay. Okay. And reduces this character's special charge time by number of turns reduced. It's just like it's a scuffed Nami. It's a scuffed Nami crewmate ability as a, I guess, Nami doesn't have that as a crewmate ability, but it's like a scuffed Nami kind of effect. Very, very weird effect. Very, very strange. Does have fear reduction too, which is kind of cool. Support effect to basically any of the Vegapunks. The support effect will go ahead and state that once per quest, if the supported character uses a special, reduce paralysis by 2 turns. Pretty good support for the Vegapunk team. Yeah, I can see this being used. Not terrible at all. Not terrible. And of course, does not have Rumble. But that's it, guys. That's the breakdown of these brand new units. Very, very, very odd that this is going to be the Kizuna batch for the end of the year. Of course, skip this Sugo Fest. I am not pulling on this Sugo Fest. You do not need to pull on this Sugo Fest. You can wait for New Year's. That's the best thing to do. It's going to wrap it up for me, though. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.